Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspirational juice. It is August the 13th, 2022, and today the topic is the power of words. Happy Saturday, everybody. Happy Saturday. I hope that you all had a great day yesterday. Mine was just fine. Not too much to report. Still working on chores and all that. But y'all know that last night, an episode of God, Sex, and Love, the talk show aired. And we had our special guest, Miss Karen Freeland, join us for a provocative and penetrating conversation. All about her and her book, The Ins and Outs of My Vagina, a penetrating memoir. I love the tongue-in-cheekness of her book and the title and everything like that. But at the same time, I know it may not be everybody's taste level and whatnot, but it was a great time talking to her. But I hope that you all enjoyed that conversation. If you missed it, then go ahead and go to godsexandlove.com and you should see it there as our featured video for the next week. But yeah, man, to God be the glory for this platform of God, Sex, and Love, man. Like I said, every conversation I have in every episode that airs, I just really thank God because, at the end of the day, again, I feel like there's been so many amazing people to share so many powerful testimonies and things that God has put on their heart to do, or not, we've even had people that may not be believers come and share, what they have, done or, received in their life and whatnot. And so, and it all can help us to some aspect as well. So, I hope that you guys check out God, Sex, and Love, the talk show, because I feel like, I know people that listen to the juice, you may be getting something from me every day, but the talk show, you get beyond me, right? You get other people, amazing conversations. I looked at the YouTube for God, Sex, and Love, our YouTube. As of yesterday, it had 901 videos. Y'all, 901 videos. My God, like for me, that is a huge, huge accomplishment. That is a huge testimony. God has done something with me, for me, and through me, through this movement of God, Sex, and Love. Yes, I know the majority of them may be the juice, obviously, because, this is something I do every day since April 1st, 2020. I know y'all should know that at this point, right? However, even outside of that, I mean, yeah, I feel like the juice is great as well because, if nothing else, I've received something every day by taking out this intentional time with God and saying, hey, Lord, what do you want to show me this morning? Hey, Lord, what do I need to study? And I just happen to share it through this, to be like, hey, y'all, this is what I studied today, and everything like that. So that is already, a movement by itself, right? But then to add in, again, the talk show element where, other people are coming in and adding to the conversation. We're having so many thought-provoking and amazing conversations as well that people are just very hesitant to still have these days. I don't know, every time it just blows my mind. And so that was huge. I saw that yesterday and I was like, what? 901 videos. So technically this that I'm doing today would technically be like 902 videos. Now, obviously there are some videos that, may be outside of the realm of GSL, but the majority of it is GSL content in regards to the talk show and the podcast, as well as, the other segments that have been created. And so we're gonna see what the Lord do with all of this, but he's already done a phenomenal thing, if I say so myself. And I'm just glad to be here. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad to be here and be doing this. And yeah, we're gonna see what the Lord do with all of this. But anyway, just taking that moment to reflect on everything. Let's get into the juice because I am recording a little bit later. I mean, well, it's about to be 6 on the dot now as I speak, right? And speaking of speaking, I guess that's a segue into the topic today. If you're wondering how I came across it, well, long story short, basically, I came across this post this morning, and people are going to go back and forth about what they think and blah blah blah, because that's what social media is, right? So I came across this post this morning, and this lady or this young lady or whatever the case is had things to say, I guess, about people that are speaking against Beyonce's new song. If you don't know, well, long story short, y'all, apparently, she got a new album that just came out and whatnot. And apparently she has a song on there talking about Church Girl. Now, I haven't listened to the song per se, so I can't necessarily fully speak on it. I just can say that I've listened to people talk about it. People like Marcus Rogers, as well as, there was another young lady that I heard speak on it and like give her feedback in regards to, I guess she was kind of like giving a review of it and whatnot from a Christian perspective and everything like that. And so, now, but the lady this morning, I'll just get to this morning. So basically the lady this morning that posted, her response was kind of like responding to those type of people and being like, well, but Beyonce didn't mean it like that, and that's not what her song is saying, and blah, 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 blah. Now, part of me wanted to comment and be like, because there's a quote, like, there's something that Marcus Rogers says all the time, which I was like, I felt like it fit this scenario, and I was getting ready to post it, but I just was like, whatever. This lady got, free will. This lady got freedom of speech. Like, she can post whatever she wants on her page. Obviously, people can go back and forth with her on it. I don't know her like that. You know what I'm saying? And then, to be honest too, also, I was like, I ain't got time for people to come at me and be like, well, weren't you in that movie? You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that, to be like, for me to say anything. So I don't know if that's conviction. I don't know if I need to go back and say it. Because yeah, I do believe that Bible believing Christians need to be speaking up on such matters. And mainly, I mean, because there's just this narrative out here, right? There's this narrative, this don't judge me thing or whatever the case is. And it's like, well, according to the Bible, Christians can judge, right? And definitely they can judge each other. You know what I mean? Those that are claiming to be brothers and sisters in Christ, then yeah, we can be calling you out on certain actions, because if it's not lining up with Bible. And then at the end of the day, we're supposed to separate ourselves from you, according to the Bible now, according to what I'm reading, like, you know what I mean? So, so the quote that I was going to comment was, again, it's something that Marcus Rogers says all the time. He's like, everybody's a Christian until it gets biblical. I mean, for me, I felt like that's facts in this conversation. I mean, but the interesting thing is, so I didn't respond. I didn't say anything. I just like let it be. I ended up focused on another task and whatnot. And then once I started to do my prayer meditation, I started to listen to the Soul Space app. And the interesting thing was that the Soul Space app was talking about basically the power of our words. And how our words have power and the things that we say, and, that our words are like missiles, and we can choose that if, what type of missiles basically they're going to be and everything like that. And that was just very interesting to reflect on this morning, especially after what had happened. And yeah, so that's pretty much where the inspiration came from. And then as I started to go deeper and actually look up verses centered around words have power, I looked up that phrase, words have power, and started to get verses that were resonating. And yeah, and here we are having this conversation now just there's a few things that stood out to me this morning before I get into the verses. Basically, one thing is that yes, it was good to be reminded and reflect on that. Hey, your words have power. Choose to speak live, choose to we have to be wise as well on how to talk to people. Obviously, different people handle things in different ways, and God can give us that wisdom on how to address different people to fit whatever their need is, right? But again, I mean, I feel like I've talked about this before, but one, I don't think that we live like every word we say matters. I think we should, but I don't think we do. Based on the things that we do and say. Then also it came across my heart and mind the fact that like social media, right? And this whole being able to say whatever you want behind a screen emboldens people to say all kinds of things where, again, I don't think we are thinking that is going to be something that not say is used against us, but that's going to be something that we have to account for according to the Bible. Now, so again, it's just one of those things. Like, again, it does a lot of things here. And even when we think about this whole thing with Beyonce, let's just elephant in the room and call it out, right? At the end of the day, every word that she says, right, she's going to have to account for. And, if the words that she's saying is not lined up with the words of the Bible, then, again, you'll know them by their fruit. Now, how are we going to try to be like, the thing is, people are defending it. People are like, oh, and hey, at the end of the day, God is going to be the one to judge. I don't know if she claims to be a believer. Now, if she does, then yes, she should expect to get called out, because at the end of the day, the Bible does call us to do that. And it also calls us to separate ourselves from it, which I already said. And if y'all don't believe that, y'all can look it up for yourself. Look it up for yourself of how we're supposed to handle fellow believers, right? And those that aren't lining up with Bible and those that aren't lining up with what we've been taught, right? But also it's just again, we're all going to have to take account for each word that we say. And so, from what I'm understanding, again, I have not heard the song and whatever the case is. Again, I have heard people talk about it. I have heard people share the lyrics or seen lyrics that people have shared. And it don't sound like Proverbs 31 woman that we were talking about a few weeks ago. So I'm just saying, I don't recall. You know what, Lord? You want me to say? Hold on, y'all. I gotta. All right. Well, what the Lord put on my heart and mind just now was, I don't recall seeing twerk like a thotty in the Bible. I just don't recall that. I don't recall it. You know what, Lord? Okay. So I'm just saying, I don't see that in the Word of God. So I don't know how we can defend it. But I mean, hey, whatever. Let us all be. Let us all be not say led by our own minds, because we're not supposed to be how I say, Lord, I don't know, I don't want to misquote, so I'm gonna leave that alone. But anyway, so let's get into what the Bible has to say about the power of our the power of words. Let's see what the Bible has to say about the power of words. Proverbs 18:21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. So again, death and life. When you know that your words are like missiles, right? And you know that, hey, what I do or say can affect death and life. Again, we should probably be a little bit more careful with what we say. It reminds me of, and this isn't Bible, but this reminds me of Maya Angelou. And if anybody knows her story, I mean, y'all probably seen her, I guess, I don't know if I actually read her memoir, but I definitely saw the movie, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. It talks about in her childhood, obviously she, and unfortunately, she was raped by a man. And when she told on him, her family killed the man, apparently. Like I think her uncles or something like that. And ever since that happened, I don't know how long she took. I can't remember if it was years or months, or it might have been years, but basically she felt, as a child, right? As a child, she felt like her words was the cause of him to die. And so she didn't speak for a long period of time because of that. And, you know, now again, that's the innocence of a child and whatnot. To think to just go ahead and kind of put those things together, like, hey, I told on the man and now the man is dead. I probably shouldn't speak, because she saw, right, that her words was that first came to life in her life, right? The words was life and death. Now, everybody's situation may not be like that, where you automatically see, right, your words being either death or life. But according to the Bible, that's what it says. And it's probably just as serious. So we should probably take it as serious as Maya did. Now, should she have, remained mute all her life and whatnot? No. But obviously that was the understanding of a child at that time. I mean, obviously she had so many words and powerful things to say, as I guess one of the greatest poets and orators of American history, as they would say, right? At least from what I'm understanding from history. But so obviously she had plenty to say, and I'm glad she said it, right? I'm glad she spoke, and I'm glad she wrote, and all those different things. I'm glad she found her voice again. But again, maybe we should, right, take it just as seriously as she did when she was a young child, to know that, hey, life and death is in the power of the tongue. Let's keep going, y'all. Proverbs 12:18. It says, there is one whose rash words are like sword thrusts, but the tongue of the wise brings healing. So yeah, I mean, on one hand, maybe I would have been correct to quote Marcus Rogers' quote on that conversation, in that conversation, right? And again, we can be right about whatever we're saying, but at the end of the day, there is importance in truth and love, right? At least in the Bible, that is. I would say that any account of Jesus speaking to people, even if they were completely wrong about whatever they were saying, and whatever the case is, he always still spoke to them in love and correction, right? You got the correction, right? But you got the correction in love. Now the interesting thing is too, like, because there's still room, and I'm not saying that there's not room for example, like the apologetics, or like they say, the hellfire messages and whatnot. I'm not going to say that there's not room for that, because at the end of the day, again, that might be the thing that helps somebody and bring them to Christ. However, and if we look at Jesus again, like, there are times where he called people out, called them vipers, called them, like, all right, well, I'm reminded of what was she doing? What was she asking for? I can't remember what the woman was asking for, but she was asking for help. I think it was for her child. She was asking for help for her child. And he said to her, like, that basically, I'm here for, not saying for the Jews, but I don't want to misquote it, y'all. See, that's how important these words is. But he was like, I'm here for certain people. Like, when it comes to your people, we can't cast our pearls to the dogs, or whatever the case is. And that kind of sounds like he's calling her and her people dogs, right? But at the end of the day, I feel like, again, one, he's Jesus, right? He's God. And obviously he knew that lady's faith, that he knew that he could say that. And he knew that what she was going to say back, which was pretty much, well, Lord, even the dogs can get the crumbs. And that's the thing, is, at the end of the day, how powerful is that statement, right? How much faith did that woman have to not just ignore, or I don't know if I would say ignore, but like, to hear what he said and not get offended by what he said, but press the fact that, Lord, I have the faith that you can do what I'm asking you to do. And so even, the dogs get crumbs. That's powerful, in my humble opinion. And obviously that was the reason why he said what he said, if you look at it deeper. But what I'm saying is that even words that Jesus said, right, could be quote unquote offensive to whoever it is, based on I guess, how people receive things, and whatnot. So I'm not saying that there's not room for you to speak truth, right? Even if it comes across as quote unquote harsh to the hearers. We definitely need to do that. But yeah, I mean, I know we all probably have felt that we all probably have felt that, like, that prick of words, right? That someone has said, like somebody has probably could have said something in your life that pricks you down to your heart, right? To make you like feel, man, like, oh, that hurt when they said those words. Like I felt that in my soul when they said that. And again, that's probably how we should we should understand that, yeah, our words can be just like that. It says that it can be swords. I know today in the prayer meditation that I was listening to, it said that our words are like missiles. And so, yeah, I just think that we should probably think about those things when we say things. But anyway, Ephesians 4:24, let no corrupting talk come out of your mouths, but only such as is given for the building up of, at the building up as fits the occasion, that may give grace to those who hear. So again, that's why the truth and love is important, right? Because at the end of the day, we all know that we all need grace, right? I need grace, you need grace. We all need the grace and mercy that God gives. And we all have received that, right? Especially those that are believers. So if we know that we receive grace, right? When we speak, approach, whatever the case is, other people, then we should extend that grace to others. Which is probably the reason why I didn't do the comment this morning, right? Again, I could comment and I could be true about my statement and all that on the message. But if it's going to get lost and whatnot, or if it's going to be something where, is what I'm saying going to build up? You know what? This reminds me of a quote that I came across. It was a while back, and it's spelled, what was the word that it spelled? It spelled the word, if I could find it, I might post it in the what they call the Go Deeper section is what I call it, or the show notes or whatever. I might post it if I can find it. But basically, we should ask ourselves, like, is this going to build up, those that hear what I'm saying, before we say certain things. I got one more verse, y'all. Matthew 12:36. It says, but I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. So that might be Pope, y'all. That might be something you don't like and whatever. That's what I was speaking of earlier. Just like every idle word that I say, every idle word that you say, and even Beyonce or anybody else, right? Every idle word that we all say, we're going to have to account for. So that's why we should take all this a little bit more seriously. And yeah, that's the juice, y'all. That is the juice. The Bible verse of today is Colossians 3:13. It says, forbearing one another and forgiving one another, if any man have a quarrel against any, even as Christ forgave you, so also do ye, friends. I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspirational juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all on Monday, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. There you go, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, anybody listening to the sound of my voice. I see people popping in and out. I don't see any comments, but I see that I guess I must have made somebody upset because I see an angry face emoji. But hey, man, all I'm doing is reading Bible here. I know I add my commentary or whatever it is that the Lord put on my heart to say in the midst of these things. So, but majority of my comments or whatever is based on Bible. So, I mean, I guess that's what you're upset with if you are upset. But I say study it for yourself. Don't take my word for it. At the end of the day, this is what I read this morning. Anybody can do that on their own as well. And you can confirm it for yourself and ask the Lord, hey, is there some truth to these things? There's more verses in the Go Deeper section to peruse and let marinate on your heart, souls, and minds. But you know what? Just as, and I'm just going to say, all right, Lord, I'm just thinking to myself here. I was getting ready to apologize, but you know what? Just as unapologetic as people are to spout any and everything that they spout these days. You know, believers, we got to be just as unapologetic about the word of God. Like, there's no need to apologize for what the word says. At the end of the day, this is what it says. And, you know, either way, we're going to live accordingly or not. And that's where that truth comes in. Like what Marcus, that quote from Marcus Rogers, everybody is Christian until it gets biblical. You know, at the end of the day, you know, everybody wants to claim that they're a believer, but we're not living accordingly. And I'm not sitting here acting like I'm perfect. You know, I'm not perfect, you know, and I say that all the time on here. I've shared a lot of my ups and a lot of my downs and a lot of things that I've done in my life. You know, I got it all out there. I've shared it, you know what I mean? So it's not a situation where I'm sitting here trying to point a finger or nothing like that. But let's not pretend. It's my thing. Like, let's not act like, at the end of the day, like, just continue to be bold, right? Continue to be bold and be like, hey, you know, I don't agree, you know what I'm saying? But don't try to act like what you're saying is good. You know what I mean? Don't try to act like what you're doing is good, you know, if it's not, you know, and again, you'll know them by their fruit. If the things aren't lining up with what the Bible is saying, then that's it. You know what I mean? That's the mark. I know we don't like that. That might be Pope. You know, it might not be something we like. But you know, that's where the line drawn. And I mean, again, we can see what life is like without God. We can see what life is like without that line. And so yeah, I don't apologize for what the word has to say. I will say that. But you know, hey, if you feel away or whatever the case is, I encourage you to look up this stuff for yourself, read it for yourself, and, you know, go to God with it. And that's it, man. That's it. But yeah, I hope to guys, you guys have a great weekend. Yep, I look forward to talking to y'all on Monday if the Lord's will. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.